All right, what is going on? It is your boy Kevin Yee. Let's test this, make sure this is working. And can you guys hear me? Hold on for a second. It's been so long since I've done a live stream. Like, I swear, it's been like 3 weeks ago since I did my last live stream on here. Currently, I'm actually in Texas. The other few weeks, I was actually just honestly living life. I was in Arizona 2 weeks ago. Last week, I was out with one of my really good friends and stuff, and we were just kicking it and just enjoying life and all that. But it's nice to be back, and some major things have happened in terms of my client work and all that more recently. And also, I just finished Matt Diavella's YouTube program as well, and it actually really taking a break from YouTube like for the last 2 weeks really has kind of changed my perspective on content creation and all that as well. I actually want to kind of decrease the number of videos I'm doing just to focus more on quality as well, like doing really cool B-roll shots and honestly just making YouTube fun again for me. I've been at this YouTube game for a little while now, and I don't know, it's not to say I haven't been getting the results I really want, but I know that honestly my growth has been a little bit stagnant. And so I want to be a little bit more, I'm planning to be a little more purposeful with my content. And since I don't have this major client anymore, it really taught me to stop focusing so much on particularly client work and just to really focus on my YouTube channel, because this is what makes me happy. And doing my coaching programs on the back end with high ticket sales and inbound sales, that makes me really happy. And taking some time away, just away from all the drama and craziness as well, it's been really good for my health. And so even today I wrote my first newsletter, which I haven't. And if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, you can go refugeehustle.com/join, open a new browser, make sure you don't get kicked out of here. But yeah, that's it. And so we're getting some people in the house really quick. I'm going to give some quick shout outs as well. So let's do that. And we got Patrick Morty in the house. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming through. OG fan. Patrick as well. Lemon Doug says, long time, Kevin. What have you been up to? Been up to a lot, guys. Like, honestly, and make sure, if you guys are tuning in, make sure to drop a like as well. Let's get the algo train going as well. Like I was mentioning earlier, I've just been really taking the time to just enjoy my life a little bit more. I've been working quite a bit, and I was getting a little bit burnt out. So last few weeks I was as you guys saw, I was in Arizona, and then I had some friends visiting over the weekend as well. Right now I'm currently in Dallas visiting my other good friend as well. Just kind of enjoying life and just taking a step back, man. Honestly, it was a little bit kind of an emotional roller coaster for me in terms of not working with this major client anymore. That was pretty major for me as well. And by the way, congrats guys, we hit 14.5 on this, which is pretty crazy as well. And I'm going to upload a thumbnail for this video too. So yeah, but that's what I've been up to. Been doing a lot more jiu-jitsu, getting more settled in Vegas. Still don't have that many friends yet in Vegas, but I'll be honest, I haven't been that intentional about it either. So definitely got to make sure I start prioritizing that as well. But that's all I've been really up to for the most part. The Hustler, VLA The Hustler says, sound is loud and clear. Thanks, man. Yeah, so sound should be good. Everything should be good on my end as well. I'm just like literally uploading a thumbnail as we speak too. So, and let me enable monetization for this. Let's put this under live streams and save this. And we should be RTG ready to go. So yeah. VLA The Hustler is, I appreciate your explanation of better martial arts techniques. Yeah, well, here's the thing, guys. I'm just like, I always tell people I'm a blue belt, like in jiu-jitsu, so not super high level, but I've been really investing a lot of time into learning more about jiu-jitsu. To be honest, I've kind of been going through the blue belt blues. So that's when, I don't know, it's a point in your jiu-jitsu career when you're kind of like in this slump. You can take on earlier belts, but can't take on quite purple belts and stuff. So I'm just like in that middle stage, and it's been really frustrating because I don't know. I'm trying out new techniques. I'm working a new game, and sometimes in order to move forward, you have to move backwards as well and work on things that you're weak at. So I've been playing a lot of things like open guard, de la hiva, K clamp stuff, and been like all that whole system. And then I've been playing a lot of Z guard into dogfight and all that sort of stuff too. It's kind of weird. Like when I see a technique in class, I can usually do it, but when I try to do it live, it's a lot harder to execute, especially on a really skilled opponent. And especially when I'm in 10 Planet Vegas right now, the weather is just so hot. I'm still trying to get used to it, and I'm usually panting like crazy as well. Good news though, your boy has lost like a few pounds here and there, if you can't tell my cheeks and stuff. But yeah, that's been my jiu-jitsu journey. I'm planning to implement yoga just to meet more people in the area as well. It's really nice, honestly, being able to decrease my expenses and not having that pressure of like things like rent at the current moment and stuff like that too. I'm actually going to take advantage of this by working on some like bigger ticket programs. Not so much toward YouTube and this whole fan base, but perhaps more organizational type of things. My business coach is always getting me at that. He's like, dude, I'd like to see you implement this solution. So we'll see as well. I'm working on everything. I'm strategizing everything this week. Literally this weekend has been just purely for relaxation because such a major event happened to me as well. And so I'm just trying to figure out my next steps. I've been writing my ideas down in this notebook though. I have like a field notes notebook where I write all my ideas down and all that as well. So yeah. And if you guys aren't tuned in for my newsletter, make sure to do that. refugeehustle.com/join. Would appreciate it, y'all. Let's see. Keep teaching in the masses. Thanks, man. Yeah, I might do, I don't know, because here's the thing. I love talking about jiu-jitsu. I love doing jiu-jitsu, but I know that not everyone's into jiu-jitsu as well. So I need to think of a way to like incorporate jiu-jitsu into my videos without being a jiu-jitsu video, if that makes sense. Things like that until I get like more comments asking me to do more jiu-jitsu videos, narratives, and all that. There's so many great channels out there that are dedicated to jiu-jitsu, and I love jiu-jitsu. It's a major part of my life, but unfortunately I don't share it on this YouTube channel too much, but I should. I definitely should. Kevin Yee live and back in black. That's right. That is right. Honestly, one of the best decisions I made more recently is just taking some time off and just not pumping out videos all the time. Ever since I got to Vegas, it's been, I don't want to say tough, but it's been very different. I was like putting in a lot of hours for one of my former clients and stuff, and it was just really tough ending that client relationship too and whatnot. It wasn't performance related. It was just we had different visions and stuff like that on how things would run and stuff, and we just parted ways. And that's the thing sometimes with sometimes contract work too, and it almost felt like a emotional breakup to me. I took it pretty hard at first, but life goes on. I've been doing a lot of self work. I've been doing a lot of Mark Groves programs. I also have been reading this book, When Things Fall Apart, and this is a really great book. Highly recommend it. I'll probably talk about it in one of my future videos too. But yeah, that's what I've been going through at the moment. And I've been planning, and I made the decision to just start planning on my YouTube channel and just really doubling down. I've been getting brand deals too, which is pretty crazy here too. You're welcome, says VLA the Hustler. Appreciate it, bro. Kevin, are you excited for summer? Not really, because I live in the desert and it's hot as hell out here. And speaking about hot as hell, make sure to smash the like button. But yes, I'm I feel like whatever about summer, honestly. My schedule, like things don't really change. It's not like we're back in high school or we're back in college where where you get like summer breaks or anything like that. Um, Things have like, I guess like for me, there's nothing that really changes other than the weather outside and stuff. And out in Vegas and stuff, it gets so hot, and like probably I'm gonna be spending a lot of time at the casinos just walking around and stuff. I don't gamble, for y'all that don't know as well, but super excited for but what I am excited is more of my friends visiting me in Vegas and stuff, and planning some maybe summer trips and whatnot around the country. So that should be pretty fun too. What's the most hours in a day you think the average person is actually productive? Man, I think everybody's a little different. It really depends. But we hear things like Pomodoro method and the tomato timer method and stuff like that. And I don't know, there's people that say that you can't focus more than just like 50 minutes at a time. Any longer, like you lose focus and stuff like that. Maybe a little bit longer, but it really depends too on the type of work you're doing, how demanding it is mentally. I mean, because there's different lines of work. There's like, okay, if you're bagging groceries and stuff, that's like one line of work. Yes, it might be hard work physically, but it doesn't take a lot of mental power. But as you move up the ladder, like for example, dealing with conflict at the pharmacy, that was pretty difficult at the times, right, for me. But when I'm trying to close up a deal these days, that takes a lot of mental energy, interacting with people, talking to people, understanding what they want. Active listening is one of the most draining things sometimes. But it's like any other muscle. I think where I was like maybe a few years ago and now, it's a little bit different, and I have a higher tolerance for the work, I guess, if that makes sense. But I don't know. It really depends on nature of work and all that. And it never hurts if you actually like the work that you do and you feel not pushing yourself, but being drawn or pulled to the work. My neurohacking coach told me about this concept of being in flow, and true motivation is when you're actually drawn to the work versus pushing yourself too. So it's a very interesting concept as well. And that's how I feel when I work with students and all that sort of stuff too. It's really fun. Do you think modern technology has fundamentally changed the relationship between men and women? Like in terms of dating or like Tinder or like those type of things? I think so, actually. Think about it. When I think about, and it depends platform, right? But like if you're on a dating platform, I do believe that it's more, how do I put it? More, in terms of relationship and stuff, like I feel like it's more mechanical or more transactional. That's a better term. I feel like it's a lot more transactional in terms of dating. There's one thing that you're after. It's either you're after ass or you're like after a relationship and stuff. And people just, there's so many options. So people just treat each other as transactional and stuff. And that's where you get things like ghosting. And it really takes away the human element of like relationships, traditional relationships between men and women. What was really interesting one time is that I was speaking to, I believe my cousin, or I can't remember who I was exactly speaking to, but we were talking and he was just saying that it was my friend Rohan, I believe. He's like 21 years old now, but he was saying that, I'm not sure if it was Rohan. Anyways, he was just saying that he feels more comfortable, like some of his friends feel a lot more comfortable like shooting a DM to a girl versus like physically approaching her and stuff and talking to them directly, which is really interesting, because back in my day, I mean, you see someone that, you know, could be a friend, you could be interested, you just go up to them and talk to them, right? And it's so funny that lost art, like that art of going up to people, building connections, relationships, it's gone. It's really fascinating, honestly. And by the way, for those 4 people who haven't, make sure smash the like button for your boy Kevin. We appreciate it as well. Can you talk about the former client? What happened? Yeah, I can talk about it. So basically what happened was, and this is the nature of client work, which is why I kind of feel a little bit avoidant about it. But I was actually performing pretty well on this offer. Yeah, I had some, it was like a real estate offer, and I was trying to find my stride, but I started getting momentum near the end. And all of a sudden one day, like this guy, the sales manager, he called me like on Tuesday or something. This is right after like my vacation with one of my really good friends. And I was like, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay, what's up? He's like, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. We go through that. And then he was like, yeah, I need to have a tough conversation with you. I was like, okay, cool. What is it all about? And he was like, I need to let you go. I was like, well, okay, that's fine. But I guess why are you letting me go in terms of my contract? And then he was like, your performance. I was like, come on, really? If performance was really an issue, why did you shout me out last week and all that as well? I've been actually performing. We met 2 weeks ago. You said my performance was there. And so is it really performance? He was like, no. And I was like, in my head, I was just like, man, just straight shoot with me, man. Like I'm way too, like, I hate it when people aren't transparent. It gives off that corporate vibe when people aren't transparent with you. And then basically what happened was he was like, yeah, you mentioned like the meetings and stuff. I just don't feel like you'd be a good cultural fit. Because here's the thing. We would meet almost every single day for about an hour for a meeting. That's sometimes we meet 5 to 6 to 8 hours sometimes just with meetings alone. And I always felt like they were excessive. I never challenged him. I never challenged that particular sales manager in public, but I would go back behind and just be like, hey, do you mind if I provide some feedback? It's like things like that. I am always pretty respectful. And he was like, yeah. So I provided feedback. Yes, honestly, maybe since he's a younger guy, he's a great. He's a really great sales manager. Otherwise, right? I would say like he really goes out there for his team. He really cares about his team. But what I noticed was that I'm not sure if he really enjoyed that feedback that I gave him. And I just honestly, since he was younger, the vibe was kind of like frat boyish, and I'm just like, it's like kind of like a Christian frat boy type of thing. They would do prayer every single morning and stuff like that, and it's kind of, for me, like mixing religion and like work is kind of weird, I guess, but I don't know. It's their organization. I don't tell people what to do. I just stay quiet and I just do my work, and I'm very respectful. I try to be very respectful. But I honestly never felt like I really fit in, and I guess he kind of felt the same thing too. And so basically, literally, we agree. I could have swore we agreed to finish up the week as well in terms of my current pipeline and all that sort of stuff too. And then he just let me go. He just literally next day I was like wrapping up some deals, and I just got dropped on my ass and let go and lost access. And I was like, what the heck, man? So what I really learned was like this client was actually pretty good to me for the most part. I would say it's a really great client, but it goes to the nature of client work. You can get dropped on your ass at any time for any reason. And sometimes it's not performance, and you can't expect people to be transparent with you and stuff like that, which really sucks. And I guess if I were to go back, I think it would have been to follow my gut as soon as I went onto the team and realized that, hey, you know what? Maybe following my gut about like, maybe I'm not a good culture fit, or maybe like, I honestly would not like, here's the thing. I think in the past I would have taken it personally, right? But how I look at it these days is just misalignment of values and stuff. I didn't really like, it was just the way that we want to run things is very different. And I guarantee for myself, I don't know if I'm going to take on more clients at the moment right now. I'm just taking a little break, but I guarantee I'm going to make this the best decision that's ever happened to me. Just like when I was let go from like my old pharmacy job and stuff like that too. I'm going to make this work out, and I'm going to make this the best decision ever. I truly believe it, and I think I have all the tools. I've been able to close an offer that had zero knowledge about, like, real estate. That wasn't my thing before, man, but now I can speak intellectually about it. So it's just things like that, and I'm just doubling down on my current client and just scaling that offer up so that we make more money with that. So that's kind of like what's been going on, Lemon Doug. Thanks for asking. And by the way, for those 4 people, make sure to smash the like button. Would appreciate it as well. VLA, the hustler, says, Wing Chun is cool, but you must add the jiu-jitsu and boxing if you're going to deal with modern martial arts. Wing Chun is cool. Like, I used to do southern, like, kung fu and stuff like that, and the whole sticky hand. Oh, shit. The whole sticky hands and stuff. That's really cool. I use it in, like, jiu-jitsu sometimes, like, for when you're hand fighting and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just really like jiu-jitsu because it uses the body. It's very mind and there's a lot of mental games with jiu-jitsu, and it's such a beautiful art. One of my good friends down here in Texas, she actually started jiu-jitsu, which I was like, that is really, really cool. And so she started doing it, and I was just encouraging her and all that. So I found out today, and that was really, really awesome that I found out one of my close friends. When one of my close friends does jiu-jitsu, man, I start sending, like, Danaher memes and all that sort of stuff to them as well. But it is a very beautiful art. And honestly, there was great jiu-jitsu during the Moreno fight yesterday as well. If you watched UFC as well, there was a good, like, dog fight get up, like, series as well. And I believe it finished in a rear naked choke as well. So that was really cool. I love jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is really key in everything. And definitely the Danaher, Death Squad, and, like, 10th Planet, they're really changing the landscape of jiu-jitsu too from what it previously was. I don't really like the whole gi thing. I mean, I'm not crapping on the gi, but for me, I like not doing no gi. It's really, really fun. Really enjoy it. True, it's a lot more money teaching one-on-one, which I've done. But as soon as I got to intermediate level, they started dropping out. I taught JKD, which I learned from years of JKD books. Yeah, I used to read the Bruce Lee books as well. That was really, really good. And I started doing Muay Thai for a little bit, not too long, but it was just too much. And for me, like, how often am I going to get into street fights? Probably not really. But I do love grappling, and it's really, really fun. It's really fun choking out people, and it's such a dominant force, especially if you don't know anything. Like, pairing someone up who knows grappling and doesn't know grappling, it's really a huge difference as well. So there's that. Bruce Lee used the movies to teach his martial arts, but if he lived in our time, he definitely would have used digital video to teach his philosophy in martial arts. He was definitely a major philosopher for martial arts too, and I don't know how he would fare in the modern day in terms of UFC and MMA and all that, just because there's so much. But he definitely helped spark that philosophy of, like, combining the arts, making it your own, not being so dogmatic about everything too, right? Super, super cool. And I even feel like, with jiu-jitsu, it's the same thing, right? Like, traditional jiu-jitsu or BJJ, there were no leg locks, there were no heel hooks, they were frowned upon, actually. But with the whole, like, modern revolution of jiu-jitsu, you see people, like, going for leg locks, heel hooks, all this cool stuff, and you're seeing all this innovation. It's very, very beautiful. And if you guys watched the Danaher interview as well on Joe Rogan, he talks about one of the problems being solved, like, in terms of leg locks, but there's also, like, the whole stand-up game. There's the whole the wrestling, like, the takedown game, and I forgot the other one which he said too on that podcast, but it was very, very fascinating. And I honestly really fuck with Danaher more recently too, because he's a weird guy, by the way. He's really into knives and all that sort of stuff, but he's such an intellectual. And I believe, like, for me, I want to bring that into the business world as well. Like, intellectual thinking deeper, critical thinking skills in terms of sales. Because sales and inbound sales, like, I don't know, sales has this really bad reputation for being pushy, salesy, and stuff like that, manipulative. I hate that. But what it really is just understanding communication, human interaction. influencing what people already want to do, empowering them with the right choice as well. It's just so interesting. There's so many commonalities between jiu-jitsu and sale. Like, it's a beautiful thing. So there's that. Do you think we as instructors can make millions from offering paid video course worldwide? Depends. I don't think everybody can do it. I know Gordon Ryan does it. He was charging $249 for one of his leg lock things. But as jiu-jitsu, I can say for sure jiu-jitsu is growing rapidly. We're seeing it on YouTube right now. It's growing exponentially, and you're going to see a lot more courses. And as jiu-jitsu, as you get known for one particular thing, like Danaher is known for his back attacks and leg locks, these type of things, I believe, like, yes, there is room to make money on courses online. I mean, that's how Gordon Ryan, he's been using his fame and all that to invest in these educational products, these intellectual programs, and growing it as well. I wouldn't be surprised if there was high ticket programs in the future for jiu-jitsu at all. Just because more and more high level people are getting involved. I know so many lawyers, accountants, like doctors, like all these top notch people getting involved with jiu-jitsu because it's so good for the mind. It's good for the body. It's good for so many different things. I highly, highly recommend, if you have not tried jiu-jitsu, hit your closest 10th planet up. Just kidding. Just go to any jiu-jitsu gym. I'd recommend trying out no-gi, just so that you don't have to buy the uniform and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes the uniform's a little intimidating. Like, you put on a belt. How do you put on a belt? I don't even know how to put on a belt these days and stuff. I literally had to go up to a white belt. I was like, yo, bro, how do I put this on? And it's pretty embarrassing, but it's pretty funny at the same time too. So there's that. How's Vegas treating you? Vegas is treating me very well. No income tax. The only thing I miss, y'all, is my friends. I really miss my friends. When my friends visit, yo, I have a blast. It is fun. I'm actually headed back to California this weekend. So for a mastermind, my friend's mastermind. But guess what? We have technology these days, so I keep in touch with most of my friends through, Messenger and chop it up with them. But I'm making more of an initiative to meet more people in Vegas to make it honestly less lonely and just to collaborate on cool different content and topics and all that sort of stuff. I'm so happy in Vegas, honestly. I just miss my friends. That's the only thing. I love my studio setup. I love everything. And cost of living is so much cheaper. So highly recommend going to Vegas if you ever get a chance. Not saying it's for everyone. It's hot as fuck, but it is really, really enjoyable. Do you think business owners should be able to sell their high value offers before hiring a closer? Absolutely. You need proof of concept before you hire a closer. So there's two things that one of my good consulting friends, who I'm staying at his place right now, tells me this. Really, what problem do closers solve? Conversion and scale, right? Scaling meaning like once a business owner gets to a point where they can no longer have the time, or it's no longer feasible for them to close their own deals or negotiate things, like, then it's time to hire a closer, right? But too often I see business owners who never sold anything in their life and they're scared shitless. And it's okay to partner with the closer, but it's not necessary to have a closer as well. But I believe that a lot of business owners should give it a try. Selling is not that scary. And if you're a business owner watching this, hey, reach out to me and let's see if we can make something work out in terms of being able to sell your product and stuff. But I'm kind of curious, Thorn Coach, tell me a little bit about why you asked that question. I'm kind of curious why you asked that as well. Are you running into that at the moment, or are you a business owner? We'd love to kind of hear that. Just watch your optometry interview with Justin. Helped so much. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Nate. I'm glad that it helped you a lot. And also, I would love to kind of hear from you, Nate. What was the most impactful thing that you got from that interview? It was really kind of cool because Justin has been a longtime OG fan of mine, and it was just really cool just collaborating with him. Should do a follow-up video, honestly, with him, because that video did super, super well. It's healthcare, right? And I don't know, maybe I should do more healthcare videos, but I don't really feel that passionate about healthcare anymore in terms of when I first did it. I want to help people, but I'm not sure if that's the realm I should go. I really want to help people like who are already in healthcare transition to digital remote jobs. There was actually a recent statistic or study or article talking about how people are quitting. They're quitting instead of they're quitting their jobs because they're losing their freedom from work at home. And I really do believe that work at home is the future. And if you do not offer work at home, then people want that flexibility and stuff too. They're going to look for an opportunity and things like they're going to look for a role like closing to be able to work from home. Because honestly, when you can live anywhere, it really changes the landscape of what you can do. I guarantee that property values in these no state income tax states is going to shoot up because of work from home. And maybe this is a reach. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these other states decided to lower their income tax or do away with it all, because they're going to lose money by charging so much. Like states like California or New York, why the heck would you ever... You can get so many, after traveling these states like Arizona, Vegas, and Texas, there's so many great things in these other states. The weather's not the same, but it's very similar. And you get all those California necessities or elements in these different states at a fraction of the cost. It is really ridiculous. And this honestly makes me really excited, because we're going to see a new change in culture and in society as well, right? I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting. So I can't wait. What are most credible sources of knowledge about how sales truly works? Is Jordan Belfort one of them? So you have to realize too, Armor that's a great question. There's so many different types of sales. There's the OG way of selling stuff. There's the new school way of selling stuff where it's less salesy and all that. I'll tell you the people that I've followed in the past and who I believe is really, really great. I've taken Cole Gordon's program. I was given it through my previous client. That was a really great program. I wouldn't say it's the best program I've been through, but it's a lot better than something like Dan Locke's or anything like that. Honestly, I would stay away from Dan Locke's. I don't know about Peyton's program, Inbound Closer, or anything like that. Never taken it. I know it's $97, but I never bought it. Never taken it as well. Jordan Belfort, pretty cool with Straight Line, but it's all these industries are relatively different. How you sell an agency offer versus how you sell a coaching offer, very different as well. I really like Jeremy Minor a lot, and I've never watched Matt Ryder, but I've heard really great things from them. And as I go through these different things, I love sharing all this stuff with you guys too, right? Sharing my knowledge, growing my programs and stuff like that as well. I never claim myself to be a master closer or anything like that. I just honestly been picking up things, trying to think about how do I decrease external sales pressure where you feel like you have a gun to your head, and how do I increase internal sales pressure? Meaning, how do I get people to motivate themselves to make a change, to do something different, do something that they already want to do? Sometimes during my sales calls, I find out that people don't want to make a change, and that's okay. That is okay. I provide them, if they're not in a position to invest, that's okay. I give unconditional love on a sales call, right? Listen to people out. Sometimes I'll screen for the money ahead of time, but then I'll always go back hey, what's something that you want to achieve? What are some of the challenges that you're going through? Well, I've enjoyed our conversation thus far, but how would it feel? What would happen if you're to continue what you're already doing and your situation gets worse? What happens then? Asking these really pivotal questions is so, so important for whatever you sell as well. And this is how you build trust, through active listening and all that. So Jordan Belfort's good. I love Chris Voss, by the way. Never Split the Difference, FBI negotiation. But honestly, and obviously, what's his name? Jeremy Miner is really great as well. But those are people I listen to. I haven't found too many people that online that I really, really like a lot. But maybe I should really talk more about sales on my channel too. I really do think it would be a cool niche as well. So there's that. And by the way, for those 8 people who haven't, make sure to smash the like button. Would appreciate it, y'all. Hey, hey Kevin, do we need any previous training before starting jiu-jitsu? By the way, jiu-jitsu is spelled with J-I-U, jitsu. I think J-U is like the Japanese jiu-jitsu. It's very different or something like that. That's what I heard. I don't know. But no, go in with an open mind, go to a beginner's class. You're going to learn things like how to shrimp, how to move on the ground, like how to butt scoot, things like that. Those are like really critical skills in jiu-jitsu, but you'll learn all that on the job. You don't have to come in being like hella yoked or anything like that or super flexible. You'll develop these skills by just showing up to practice and listening to an instructor, right? Instructors really make or break a school, by the way. But if it's your first time, I highly recommend checking out a no-gi school. Some people will argue with me, telling you that you should start off at a gi school, but in my opinion, it's very intimidating to just go to a gi school and just put on a uniform and start rolling. It's super hot. It's super like uncomfortable. You don't know how to tie on your belt. You tie it wrong and stuff. I mean, you can learn all that. It's not a big deal. But I like no-gi because a few reasons. No uniform, right? But second thing why I love no-gi is that you can apply it to gi. When you're wearing a gi, you can apply it there. And I don't want to say it's more street applicable. There's arguments both sides, but in my opinion, if you're on the beach and you get into a wrestling match, you can land a flying arm. You can land a flying triangle or something like that on your friends and stuff. But no, there are no previous training required. Sharon Tang says, "How did you become a closer?" I kind of fell into it, to be honest with you. I've always been very interested in coaching, persuasion, digital marketing, these things. But I was always kind of scared about how do you convert a sale. And if you want to be an entrepreneur or anything like that, you have to learn how to sell. And that's when I just decided to, like, I took Dan Locke's closing program. Would not recommend you guys to take it, by the way. And then I realized that things were in the real world were so different. And I just learned step by step through mentors, through different people, and through experience. And that's how I became a closer. I started getting clients, and I just started on OJT, on the job training. And that's how I became it. And it's fun. I love it. I like doing it, but I will be honest with you. It's still client work. And if you don't have a good client, you can get dropped on your ass. But what I've realized is that the best clients come through referral, right? When you have a close relationship with them, you're building up the business with them. I've partnered with a few digital marketing people, and it's been a great experience as well. I've met a lot of cool people, very interesting people. I actually met up my old sales manager yesterday, and we were watching a UFC fight, Israel Adesanya as well, and it was really, really cool. But that's how I became a closer. So if you guys are interested in closing, by the way, you guys can go to kaizenclosing.com/masterclass. I might be opening up a few more coaching spots, but regardless, that is my free masterclass training. But I am opening up coaching slots relatively soon too, so that's gonna be cool. Inception Closers says, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Inception Closer? I have a feeling real estate prices are getting too frothy, overvalued. Just my opinion. Doesn't mean that'll crash overnight. I don't think it'll crash overnight. But yeah, like especially with COVID, it definitely inflated a lot of pricing and stuff like that. Apparently there's like lumber shortages and all these weird things happening too. So really, really interesting. My previous client was a real estate as well. I honestly thought about not diving into real estate per se, but perhaps doing Airbnbs and more of a tactical business and funneling my money through there for more cash flow. But we'll see. I mean, I am working with one of my friends who I am talking to. I want to do a Airbnb with them as well. So yeah, so it should be really, really interesting, and I can test it out on a few properties, and it should be pretty interesting, guys. And by the way, for those 4 people who haven't liked this video, I would appreciate it if you shot me a like. Bam. We got 12 people in here. We had 14 people in here for a while, so there's that. Yes, I'm a business owner and agree being able to sell it as proof of concept, but selling's so foreign from just doing the work. So far, I've done the work, but I've not gotten the clients myself. Yeah, a Throne coach. It's tough. I mean, if you want a Throne, like, feel free to hit me up. We'll see if I can help, whether that's professionally or just like giving you some advice, man. More than happy to see where you're struggling with at the end of the day. So yeah. But yes, selling is a new skill. You have to, like, a lot of people don't realize fulfillment and sales are very, very different skills as well. Like, it's just a whole new set of skills that is hard for a lot of business owners to learn, but business development is so key for any business as well, right? Being able to close deals, close sales, determine scope of work, all that. You learn all that in sales, and that's what I like. And for longer term engagement, that's why, like, for me, I know that that's why for me, like, I believe that sales is one of the hardest skills that you have to learn as well, because it teaches you how to set expectations, how to build a working relationship, how to really leave a great first impression of your business to the people that you're talking to as well. So it's just really, really interesting. Let's see. And Throne, let me know in the comments too, what are some things that you're currently struggling with as well? I would love to kind of hear your input about that. Can you do inbound closing full time? Can you live off of this? Absolutely. I've been living off it for the last, 2 or 3 years. So it is very, very possible and stuff like that too. So, but it's not easy. Like, real talk, it's not for everyone. I guarantee it. Most of the people who start closing end up failing because it is really, really hard. But once you're on top of the not on top of the food chain, you don't have to be the world's best, but once you develop proof of concept and your name goes out there, like, it gets really, really easy to find work, like, as well, because you just know people in the industry. People come up to you with opportunities. Like, one of my good friends, he actually reached out to me and he was like, "Hey Kevin, I'm looking for a setter. Are you available to be able to set deals and stuff?" I was like, honestly, I'm at capacity at the moment, but I could recommend you someone, right? And so I recommended one of my students, and I don't know, he's in the middle of, like, talking to them, but it's, like, really, really cool being able to kind of throw people deals and stuff like that and connect people as well. That's kind of the future of where I want my coaching services to be. Eventually I want to set up a mastermind and all that, but one step at a time. I know right now, like, I rank for inbound closing. There's a lot of people on this channel who watch inbound closing and want to start their career with this. And so I'm trying to create a variety of solutions for people as well. And inbound closing, I'm doubling down on it the rest of this year for sure. What that looks like in particular, like, I will have, like, a course or program, and I definitely will have some coaching type of stuff too, where I take you behind the scenes of what it's like closing a deal. I've literally jumped on the phone with people and, like, hey, I might close this deal, I might not close a deal. Like, we'll have to see. And it blows one of my students, he's like, "Oh wow, this is really cool. How come you don't post on YouTube?" And there's a little thing called NDAs as well. So, like, the only reason why I can do it is because it's part of my company in terms of, like if I bring you on, I put it as part of my company and stuff. So it's pretty cool. But that's, like, inbound sales. You can definitely make it full time, but it's performance based. There's no guarantees in this industry too. That is my favorite book. Which one? Never Split the Difference. That is one of my favorite books. Like, has a lot of catchy one-liners as well. Really love it. Retrofit says, "Hello, Kevin. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?" We got Bo, the Mudda Swag guy. Hey, nice seeing you, bro. What's the toughest objection that you had to deal with? The toughest objection I've had to deal with, because here's the thing, like, partner, maybe financial. Those are most common typically. Sometimes like the ones that catch me off guard are some of the logistical ones. And the way that I think of objections isn't like combative, right? Because when you hear an objection, right, it's like, oh shit, this person, we got to overcome this, right? But how I look at it is like understanding the meaning behind their concern, why they're concerned about it, and then coming up with a solution that solves for that if it's appropriate as well. I use a lot of permission based, by the way. I use a lot of Jeremy Miner's objection handling skills as well. I've learned different things like through Never Split the Difference and stuff, but like I really like Jeremy Miner's like way of, for example, like, oh man, it's out of my budget or something. Like I love his objection handling because it's kind of like asking questions like, hey, are you absolutely 100% certain about this, right? Without being so blunt. It's kind of weird. It's almost like dating. Like when you are closing or you're objection handling or doing sales, like sometimes you can't ask the direct question because it lacks tact, right? It's like you don't go up to a girl and be like, hey, do you want to sleep with me? All right? It's not, but you have to ask nuanced questions that get the point across. So what I learned from Jeremy Miner, he has a video on this too. It's like he first starts off, for example, if they say, it's too much money. Well, hey, that's not a problem. Well, let's say if you did have the funds, would this still work for you? That's attacking that. You're closing doors. You're determining whether this is a money problem or a certainty problem, right? And let's say it's like, yeah, if the funds work, I would be all in. Okay, that's great. So, okay, so that's not a problem. So what are all the avenues that you could potentially come up with so that you can get X and do Y? What are all the avenues that you can come up with the money so that you can have X and Y? I don't have my script in front of me. I usually have it written down and stuff, but that's kind of the gist. I love that because it's forcing them to come up with a solution and make them come up with the solution instead of you coming up with the solution. Of course, I always have things in my back pocket in terms of how I want to structure a deal, but I want to force them to take accountability of this problem because it's a very subtle way of saying, hey, if you don't do X, if you don't invest, you don't get what you want. If you don't do X, you don't get what you want, right? And then it's all that. And then I always ask like, hey, is it appropriate? Like if I do make recommendations, which is the last resort, if I do make recommendations, hey, do you mind, is it appropriate if I make a recommendation to you, right? Using permission based, not forcing things down people's throats. That's something I really learned from Jeremy Miner, and I try to apply that more and more and more. Damn, it is really dark in here, by the way. So appreciate y'all sticking with the late night Kevin Yee talks as well. Hey, Kevin, just stopping by. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Isaiah, what's going on, bro? Like, love having you here, man. Great interview with you. It's been doing very, very well, by the way. Kevin, are you completely relocated right now? How's your new place? Have you ventured around to get a feel of your new residence? Yeah, I mean, I haven't ventured that much, honestly, because I don't have that many friends. But I've been getting acquainted to, like, my 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu gym. There's a yoga gym that I just signed up for. I have a 24-hour gym as well. And I go to strip quite a bit just to go for a walk. But, and there's a lot of great restaurants, but I'm at home most of the time, y'all. And that's something I'm trying to change. And that's why I've been traveling a lot to compensate for not having friends and stuff. But I'm planning to, there's a few people that reached out to me that I'm going to chop it up with and see if we're going to be the best friend guy. Jeff Potter says, when are you moving to Asia? I'm not quite sure. My plans changed because of the new client change that I was talking about earlier as well. So I don't know. I really want to start planning to go to Asia. Maybe after I get a few more coaching clients and stuff, after that part of the business is really solid. I do have one other client, which I do more consulting for. I might hop on the phones and take a few calls just to get a pulse on that offer as well. But those are my two major projects that I'm going to do YouTube. And then I want to start selling a a corporate training or group training for existing sales teams as well. How to increase internal sales pressure and decrease external sales pressure, like being forced or assumptive closes. I hate those. Guys, if there's something that I freaking hate about this industry, it's like assumptive closes, right? So do you want it in red or black or blue? Like assuming that people want something when they didn't say that they want. It feels kind of, honestly, might get canceled for this, but it feels kind of like forceful and rapey, honestly. I don't agree with it. I don't like that in this industry. It works for some people. You can bully people around, but that's when you get things like buyer's remorse, or that's when you get things like objections like, I need to think about it. They're just trying to get out because you've already broken up that trust by not, letting them decide and giving them the power. I used to laugh at things like when Dan Locke taught, like, so where do you want to go from here, right? It's not the best phrasing that I would say. And then I went with the more Jordan Belfort type of thing. Like, hey, I'd love to extend it. Like, I've met a few other closers where they're like, hey, I'd love to extend an invitation for you to work with us. Are you ready to get started? Things like that, which is a little forceful, but, I think the new one that I have, and it's all written down for me too. Like, I think the new one I have is like, so there's nothing more that I really, we covered a lot of ground here. So there's nothing more that I would, there's nothing more that I would need to cover, but I'd love to ask you, how would you like to proceed from here? Right? Giving them the choice and empowering them. I honestly, like, trust me, guys, it sounds freaking crazy. If you're in sales or closing, it might sound crazy, but I let people think about it. People, like, I originally thought this person's going to be a payment plan, and they actually came up with the money and paid in full. Two out of three deals actually closed because I use zero sales pressure. I listen to them. I highlight the benefits to their specific situation, not overwhelm them with tons of facts, features, benefits, and I avoid assumptive closes at all costs. And it just provides a better relationship between me and that person, provides a better relationship, extension of that brand. And yeah, it's really, really crazy. But the worst thing that, of course, if you're trying to like manipulate answers and you're kind of salesy from the beginning, that's really, really tough. That's really, really tough because you're breaking the trust immediately already. And it's not the most comfortable feeling for a lot of people too. So that's my take on sales more recently. If you guys are interested, like, dude, I would love to kind of hear all the feedback that you have about inbound sales and all that. I'd love to kind of hear like what kind of topics that you would like me to cover on this channel. Because I will be talking more and more about that as well. So there's that. Cool. I got a partnership and new position, making tons of money and great work culture. Your videos keep me hungry and motivated. So thank you. Hey, Retrofit. I love it. Dude, let's definitely connect. Shoot me a DM. But I'd love to kind of hear, what are you doing right now? You're wearing a suit and tie. I would assume that you're probably in real estate, or like a mortgage broker or something like that. I don't know what you are, but hey, I'm really, really happy for you. And which videos really stood out to you, Retrofit? I would love to kind of hear that. Jeremy is awesome. I'm in his and Sales Snipers internship. Pretty fun ride. That's awesome, man. I'm actually thinking about investing into Jeremy Miners as well. Probably near the end of the year and stuff. I got access to some of his material through my business, like through my former clients as well. His stuff is amazing. I've taken so many notes on his stuff. I've implemented it into my system as well. Not all the questions are kind of like, when you're selling coaching and stuff, it's a little tougher, right? Depending who your market is as well. Like agency work, like I love Jeremy Miner stuff. Like, hey, what do you like? Wait, do you like what you do? Right? Okay. What do you like about it, or what don't you like about it? Is there anything else that you like? Like things like that. It's sometimes kind of awkward fitting that conversation in. You really have to customize what he says, but all his stuff is gold. I use his, like, my sales process has changed a lot since I've shot that masterclass. I probably will reshoot another masterclass, but yes, consequence questions, solution questions, problem awareness questions. Though that is so solid. and his system is really, really great. I've seen it firsthand, like me implementing this, my friends implementing this, our incomes just shot up because we eliminated all sales pressure. So nowadays, in terms of me selling, I kind of decreased the sales pressure a lot more. I should compare my version 1 script to my version 10 script of my previous client. I gotta censor all that sort of stuff because I don't want to drive any traffic toward my previous client. Screw them. No, just kidding. I have nothing against my previous client, by the way. Just the way that they offboarded me, which was extremely unprofessional. But when I was on the offer, it was really great. I like the Chris Voss late night DJ voice, lol. Yeah, dude, late night DJ voice is a shit, man. Like, I love it. But here's the thing: as you're using Jeremy Miner stuff, as you're using Chris Voss's stuff, do you feel like you're a traditional salesperson? No, it just feels like I'm talking. I wouldn't say talk. Some people are like, you're talking to a friend. I wouldn't say I'm talking to a friend because I make dick jokes and all that with my friends. But I just feel like there's a real human connection at the end of the day when I'm using these sort of things as well. So that's really great that you're a part of that Inception Closer. Let's definitely connect. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Someone I know is doing coaching certification under Brooke Castillo, but has reluctant reservations because she's an MD and worried about liability, one-to-one coaching. It depends. I don't know, man. I mean, if you want to connect me with them and stuff too, I'm more than happy to chat with them as well, see if I can help. But I don't think there's any liability. Like, where's the liability? It's all about how you position your offer, because just like there's certain things like money earning claims and all that sort of stuff. I know plenty of MDs, they have coaching programs. They have coaching programs on how to build your practice. I don't know what the relationship is in terms of that, like in terms of your friend's program or who you know, but I don't know. So there's that. I agree with that 100%. Giving them a choice and asking if you could recommend something that makes the close way easier. Exactly, right? Like in traditional sales, if you ask like, where do you want to go from here? So how would you like to proceed? Giving them control is like a no-no because they want you to, they're like, you got to control the process, right? You're closing doors. Why would you open up that door? But here's the thing that a lot of OG closers don't talk about is that door was never closed to begin with. You just because you don't bring something up doesn't mean that they're not thinking about it. And so by allowing them to voice their concerns, their legit concerns, you have a higher chance of closing that. And it builds more trust because in the trust formula, you're removing your self-interest, your self-orientation. It's so mind-blowing. It's so mind-blowing when you mention things like, like when you really, I don't want to say tie down. Those are like old school terms, right? But when you really question about why someone should invest into a solution, like they're like, yeah, it's really important for me to invest in XYZ. Well, why now though? Asking those questions, Dan Locke will call it reverse psychology. Jeremy Miner calls it, I can't remember what he calls it, but it's essentially not instilling doubt, but really making sure about their solution, how strongly they feel about that, right? How so? How would that impact you? Like these questions are super, super important. And I just love it because it is kind of like what you would ask a really great friend. I would ask all these questions to a really, really close and great friend as well. Super important. Are you able to offer your personal brand stuff right now without mentioning your PharmD? Is liability greater risk because you have PharmD, or does this not affect your current business dealings? It doesn't affect my current business dealings because I don't mention that I'm a PharmD, and it doesn't matter because it's not healthcare related. What is the board really going to do as well in terms of that? Take away my license? I don't think so. So I don't know. Like, I think like I got to read like how, like all the things that the board can do, like revoke your license and stuff like that for unprofessional behavior or something. I don't know, but it's not a concern for me because it's so unrelated. I'm in a different area altogether. And I really, at this point, I don't want to say I don't need my license, but it's a great option to have just in case. But yeah, if you think this is appropriate, if you have time, I love to interview you for my YouTube channel. Yeah, bro, just hit me up for your YouTube. Like, hit me up on the DMs, and let's talk about it there, dude. Yeah, I have a lot more free time now, y'all. So I'm going to be investing a lot more time into this, doing a lot more collaborations, and just talking about my experience. Real talk, dude. Like, closing has been so, like, it's been really, really fun, but really difficult too in terms of client management and finding a great client and all that sort of stuff. There's so many times where, like, this world of closing, there's so many unprofessional companies and stuff that I've dealt with and stuff. It blows my mind because I come from a very professional background, and it's just like, man, I can't believe people operate like this. But you know what? To each their own. You're in startup culture, wild, wild west. You just don't know what you're going to run into. And what I've realized is that the best clients come from warm referrals through friendships and stuff. People say don't work with your friends, but honestly, like, some of my best clients came from my friends, or they came from this YouTube channel. It's really amazing. So yeah, you guys get to see my closing philosophy. I don't really talk about this too much to everyone as well. Like, I talk about it obviously with my coaching students, which I got to open up cohort 2 soon because I've been getting tons of DMs about this. But I don't know, if I would be completely transparent, it's like my first cohort did really well. Like, 2 decided, hey, this is way too hard, I want to quit. Which I did my job for that, by the way. I'm like, great. Now you know that this isn't for you, right? And you can stop. But you have great people skills that you can do to dive into things like that. But 2 of my other students, one's about to launch her high ticket program. I helped build it out for her. And then the other one got a job, or is in the middle of getting a job too. So I'm super, super stoked. I guess the thing is, for me, in terms of launching the second cohort, is just like, I remember how much work it was, and maybe like I feel like it's not good enough. But when I look at it on paper, I was like, do your students get the results? Absolutely. Maybe it's a mindset thing. I got to talk to my coach about that. Like, legit. There's a little bit of that. Intro to inbound closing is my favorite. I was not good at inbound closing as I am in-person closing. My partnership is with a roofing company. My job is with bathroom remodel company. Cool. Awesome stuff. Almost like consequential questions. Inception closer talks about closing and jiu-jitsu parallels. Super cool. That's really cool. Like, I love jiu-jitsu. I love closing and stuff. I think we really chop it up, bro. I love jiu-jitsu. Yeah. 10 Planet, baby. I'm telling you, you meet the weirdest, like, you meet so many cool people in jiu-jitsu and who are in entrepreneurial pursuits. So, yeah, really glad to just chop it up with you, man. Slide in my DMs, like, on Instagram and stuff. So we can chat there about a collab or something like that. But yeah, anyways, guys, it is super late. We hit the hour mark. It's 9:12 in Texas, about 7:12 over PST. But hey, I just appreciate all y'all who have joined me tonight. I didn't think that many people would actually be on this stream, honestly. Like, my views have not been good. I've not been consistent with my content whatsoever. I've been really, really bad. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's going to change on this channel. Well, not too much. The relatable stories, the vulnerability, all the things I'm going through. I'm planning to sprinkle a lot more of my life into this channel and have higher production quality. I don't know if I can really do the Matt Diavella thing, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try for this next month to really have higher quality content starting this week, planning out my content and all that. But I really think that there's a real big niche into self-development through entrepreneurship, man. That's what I want to talk about. As much as I had that pharmacy background, like, I believe that most pharmacists at some point, they get a little itchy for entrepreneurship as well. So maybe I'll relate to them, but sometimes you just got to realize that what got you here won't get you there. And I know I need to ascend. I need to create better content. I need to create more focused content toward a real strategy as well and start growing. And so I think having this time away from my other client who was taking about 30, 40 hours per week from me, It is so much better now. So yeah. I will DM you. Awesome. This was awesome. Keep it up. Yeah, guys, join me next week. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you haven't already, make sure to sign up for my email list. I'm about to send something out tomorrow. You can go to refugeehustle.com/join. And you can sign up for my email list. I just send you weekly updates and all that, what's going on in my real personal life as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I love y'all. Take care. Have a kick-ass week. And maybe I'll do another one these next Sunday. Actually, I will do another one next Sunday. I'll talk to you later. Peace.